Hi.
Meeting is being recorded.
I'm leaving this meeting.
Good evening, everybody.
Who was that? Oh,
Hi,
hi,
Jack.
Jack.
Hey,
Hi,
Jack.
Jack.
How are you?
And we have Marlene coming. Oh, the first dude is here.
I am here. I'm here.
How did you not know he was going to be here, Robin? You sounded like you were surprised he showed
No,
up.
he's headed down to the Peloton.
Oh,
Yeah. Hence, I think why the video's off.
Hi,
I can
Yeah.
multitask.
We have Peter here.
Here, but I'm not all there according to some people.
Word is out. Word is out. All right, well, it's 6:31. Shall I go ahead and get started?
Yes.
Wonderful. So excited that you're all joining us for the first session of our spring training in the Rockies with tonight's Mumbo Jumbo. And I don't want to waste any time. I have three of the most impressive Kiwanians here tonight, and I'm going to let them take it away. So let's start with our Kiwanis International President, Peter Mancuso.
Good evening again, everybody. Best wishes on your first training session of this set of programs. I'm sure they'll all go well. Governor Robin asked me to speak about some of the things that I found to be confusing about Kiwanis when I was a new member 35 years ago. And it's an interesting exercise because, you have to step back in your mind to where you were 35 years ago and step out of all the things you've internalized about Kiwanis and that I've internalized about Kiwanis since then. I will tell you this, that when I joined Kiwanis, I was an attorney. I had just gone into private practice and I was looking to network. So I joined this club that I've been asked to join for 4 years. And what I found when I got there was that I'm full of very clever people, quipsters, joking all the time, a lot of women in the room, and that it was a therapeutic thing. It was really therapeutic to come there after a day or four to every Tuesday night. But I also found that a number of things were confusing there. And I found that nobody did much of anything to explain to me the things that were confusing. They just that the new person in the room knew as much as they did, which was exactly the opposite of the truth. So let's start with the first one, which is Kiwanis. The word Kiwanis. What did the word Kiwanis mean? To me, it sounded like, what was it, a person? Was it an animal? What was Kiwanis? And I asked people, and everybody asked that a different explanation. Some said it was an Indian word. Some said it meant we build. Some said it meant we have a good time. They said a lot of different things. But what I found out over the years that what the word Kiwanis really means is cash bar. It means cash bar. And that definition carried me through better than any of the others I was taught. We also sing. If you give $5, we sing. We gave $5 if you sang in 1987. We give $5 if you sing today. So inflation hasn't really changed anything. But that was a little goofy at the beginning. What was that all about? There was one other club in my division that, we would sing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Another club in my division would sing the more we get together, together. And it went on for a long time. It stretched out the meetings. I found that to be different. And I've seen people come to our membership and kind of be taken aback because they're, we all start singing. In those days, we didn't have SLPs. They were known as sponsored youth. And the first time I heard the phrase sponsored youth, I didn't know what that was either. I didn't know if it was us sponsoring some kind of agency or adoptions or what sponsored youth meant. I figured that out. I also found that we sponsored something called Circle K. And I thought that was odd that we would sponsor gasoline stations and convenience stores, because that's what Circle K meant to me then. Again, I had to meet some of our Circle K members to get what was happening there. And they would talk about interclubs. Another thing happened, they would talk about interclubs. They would talk about that they needed 4 of us to make interclubs. It sounded like they were building something. It sounded like they were constructing something, and they were naming the place they were going to go to do that work. you know, when you combine that with the fact that I was told that the motto of Kiwanis was "We Build," that people talked about new club building. They didn't talk about new club opening back then. They talked about new club building. It really sounded like the club was a bunch of carpenters to me. I kept hearing about building, building, building. And another thing that was very confusing, and it's still confusing today to people, is that we happen to choose the words division and district to describe those different organizations in Kiwanis. We picked two words that are very similar to each other. And to this day, people who have been Kiwanians for decades will say division when they mean district and district when they mean division. And I didn't begin to sort that out until sometime later when I actually went to a divisional meeting and figured out what it was that they were talking about. Another thing was that my club had two corporations. I didn't get that at all. My club had a, you know, there was a club corporation, there was a club and a club foundation. I didn't understand, and certainly no one was explaining to me where the club began and the club ended, where the foundation began and the foundation ended. And I didn't have a blessed clue what they were talking about when they were using the phrase 501c3. That meant nothing to me at that time. Later on, it came to mean quite a bit to me. There are a lot of acronyms in Kiwanis. I think you're going to talk about some of them later. But we had acronyms that had nothing to do with Kiwanis, but they related to organizations in our community that we interacted with all the time. We had SEMP, which was the Council of East Meadow Community Organizations, SEPTA, the SEPTA Holiday Party, which was the Special Education Parents and Teachers Association Party, to name a few of the many non-Kiwanis acronyms that we had. And I'll leave you with one last story. As I mentioned, at our meetings when I joined the club, there were plenty of women in the room. Summer of 1987, 6 months after I joined the club, our delegates went off to the Kiwanis Convention, Washington, D.C., and they returned with their shoulders slumped and explained to us that at that convention, Kiwanis had admitted women to the organization, which prompted me to nudge the guy next to me and ask the question, they've been here all the time, weren't they always members? That was the last bit of confusion that I wanted to share with you. And I hope the program, I look forward to listening to the program tonight, hearing about Mumbo Jumbo, and you guys have a great evening, okay?
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
All right, Dawn and Bert, are you ready to take it away? Actually, I probably should introduce you. So, the Rocky Mountain District Governor-elect, Dawn Ignatius, and the Kiwanis International President-elect, Bert West. Take it away.
Woo-hoo! Okay, I put on my Mumbo Jumbo hat for you because when I started thinking about this with Bert, can you see it says Mumbo Jumbo? We realized that really people that were part of Kiwanis 3 years and under, all the things that Peter just mentioned, and more, and how long it takes you to figure it out. I pretty much decided that there's so much more to Kiwanis than Woodland Park.
Really?
So I know. Can you believe that?
That's surprising.
So
I
that
thought
pretty much-
Woodland Park was all there is in Kiwanis. So
Right? Well, I thought so too. But anyway, we thought this might be Bert has done this a couple of times in our satellite club up in Woodland Park, and people mentioned that they got a lot out of it. So here we go. Joseph, put our slide presentation on so that people can see it, share our screen. Is there anything you want to say, Bert, before we move
I
on?
just wish we were all together, you know, in Greeley or Fort Collins or wherever we were supposed to be. I wish we were there together, but we're not. But Robin has done a great job of improvising, and Josephine is amazing. They come up with a great plan, and Ron Ignatius and Robin, Governor Robin, could talk me into spending an extra night in Indianapolis just for a Zoom meeting. I would have been on a plane now flying home back to my lovely wife, wherever she is on the screen. But instead, I'm still sitting in a hotel room so I can Zoom tonight with Dawn because I did not want the shame of not fulfilling her wishes.
And that's
so.
exactly right, mister. Good thing
Yeah.
that you're here.
And obviously, Charlie and Jim are not at her house, or she would not be wearing that on her
Jim
head,
is sitting
so,
right next to me,
Is
just so
he?
you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he's not
Thank you.
talking, he's not on his Zoom because we're having a horrendous windstorm here in Lake Havasu and we have spotty internet. So only one of us can be
But I'm
on.
excited tonight. That'll be fun. And whatever you hear tonight will be the first time I'm hearing it too. So we're all gonna have a good time.
Well, the fun part is I've kind of reached out here. I mean, actually, when I look around the room here, it's like, you guys are not new Kiwanians. So I'm a little worried because Bert and I decided at the very end, we're going to challenge you to give us some questions, burning questions that you've had about Kiwanis. And if we can't answer them, then we have to throw in $10 for each wrong answer to the Rocky Mountain District
Dawn,
Foundation to a limit of $500 because I'm a little
Yeah.
worried we might not know some of them. So I'm kind of glad Peter's here, although I don't think he's going to jump in to rescue us. I think he'd like us to lose more money and give it to the foundation. Yep, I can see
So
that.
I have to tell you, Don, what happened to me yesterday at the airport. Can I do that first?
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm sitting in the Denver airport and I'm getting ready to fly to Indianapolis. And this gorgeous little girl, just the cutest little thing, looked like a little, what do they call it? Like a bug's ear, you know, just the cutest little girl. She's just staring at my cowboy hat. I knew she was staring at my cowboy hat. And I just looked down at her and I said, and how old are you, little lady? And she went like this. I said, oh, you're 4. You can't talk? And she goes, yes, I can talk. You can't count? Go ahead, Don. That's as good as they're going to get tonight, Don. So you better get going. So, and you probably ought to unmute yourself before you come up with some fancy retort.
We liked your
thank
joke,
you.
Bert. Mac liked it.
If you want us to laugh, we'll have to all unmute.
Okay, all right.
So we'll please ask questions in the chat room. If I'm going too fast, too slow, or everyone's just saying hi in the chat room for now. So, ready, set, go with our PowerPoint.
Okay, here you go. There's a little bit of a lag, but let me know if you see it in just a few seconds.
Thanks.
We do.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
Well, we did.
It's gone now.
It's gone.
What? Okay. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Give me 1 second, Don. Talk or something.
Okay, I'll talk. I'll put some people on the spot. And let's start with Carol.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, she was saved by the
Oh.
PowerPoint.
Just say my name and it all fixes itself.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you where you were at, Carol. Are you in Florida or are you
I'm
home?
in Florida.
Cool. All right, Joe, let's go on to the next one. And the next one, because we've also already said hello and welcome. So truly, people that come to Kiwanis generally come because one of us has asked them to come there to talk about the service that we provide and the friendships that we've gotten by meeting fellow Kiwanians, but we really don't even know, like Peter said, what is Kiwanis? I think over the years, we've gotten better, some of us seasoned Kiwanians, to know, actually be able to recite that Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time.
It scares me out when they ask me to recite that. and I should know that verbatim. And if you start saying it, it's almost like the national anthem. I can sing it along with you, but if you ask me to sing the words to the national anthem, I get froze up. And the same thing with the Kiwanis speech there is, you know, when I go to say that, I'm like, uh-oh, I just lost it in the middle there.
I know,
It's
don't
a-
you? We just fumble. We just go, oh, well, we help children. That's what we do.
Mumbo jumbo right then, doesn't it? Yeah, so.
Exactly. All right, we'll go on to the next one. So why are we here? Another formal answer right there, but my answer has always been to help kids, to take a look at our community, see where the needs are, and provide service to them. But formally, we're here to improve the quality of life for children and families through fellowship and service worldwide. I didn't know for a long time how long Kiwanis had been around. Is there anyone here besides Peter and Bert that knows that it's been around since 1915 and it started in Detroit?
Well, the difference is Peter was there at that meeting. I was not there at that meeting.
Oh yeah, that's.
He was there for
okay.
the objects
Anyway.
in 1924.
Yeah, I was there for that. But just so you know, Kiwanis is actually in 86 nations around the world. So that's there's not districts, but not every district is, our nation is part of a district, but there's some districts in formation. But there's actually a club in 86 nations around the world.
What's our newest one, Bert?
I would say, you know, Peter, I don't know what the answer to that would be. I don't know if it'd be India or Romania.
I think it's going to be Africa.
Or Africa, yeah.
It's going to be someplace. It's probably Uganda, actually. I think we just opened one in Uganda in February, but we may have had one in Uganda before that. It's going to be someplace in Africa, most likely.
Yeah.
So Bert didn't know the anser to that question.
I was just gonna say, I think
That's
$10.
$10. Sandy, start running a check and make sure they don't double it. Ooh.
I see that there's something in the chat, so I'll check on that while you are.
Can you go
Why
back
is it
a
back
slide?
to Kiwanis? Yeah, it seems like it went back to the beginning, and the last slide, Joe, is talking about how many members there are.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so
Can you go
sorry.
back one slide? There's I want.
Okay.
You're,
Is this,
I just
see-
want to point out, that, you know, in Kiwanis, you know, we say 550,000, but the beauty of Kiwanis with that number is our Key Club and our service leadership programs that we do far better than any other organization, because that number includes Key Club, Circle K, Action Club, and K Kids and Builders Club. And the thing that most Kiwanians don't know is Key Club actually outnumbers regular Kiwanians worldwide. We have more Key Club members than we have Kiwanians. And so there's some days that we worry about that, and other days we're very proud of that. And today I'm very proud to say that we have that many Key Clubbers around the world that want to give service to their community.
Next, please.
is it saying the Kiwanis objective? Object?
It is.
Oh, good. Okay.
It is, you're doing great.
I can't remember exactly who told me about the Kiwanis objectives, but it was very serious. And I told Miller, who was really just a pillar in our club in Woodland Park. He was a riot, but when it came down to talking about objectives, he was very serious. And he read them to me just like this here. So I'm going to read.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but this was adopted. These 6 objectives were adopted in 1924 in Denver, Colorado. And there's a picture in my office and at the Kiwanis International office of that day of all the delegates out in front of the Brown Palace right after they adopted the objects of Kiwanis. And not one word has changed since 1924. It's exactly as the way it was in 1924. But go ahead.
You know, it would have been pretty cool if you had brought that picture, because that's much more interesting, actually seeing the sidebars of that. So
Well,
next time,
doing
bring the
nothing.
picture.
Sandy's not doing anything. She could walk out to my office and take a picture, Go ahead, Don.
I'm going to let that go. Next.
When I get the objects of Kiwanis, as we have on the screen there, what always amazed me is the foresight that the Kiwanians in 1924 had when they wrote that. They stayed out of politics. They didn't let, political views get into the way. They just made it about being good to other people and being good to your community. And I've just always been amazed at the foresight that those Kiwanians in 1924 had to write these objects that have changed.
Next one, please. So what do we do? And for me, these numbers make me the most proud of being a Kiwanian in providing service into our communities, and not just our communities, but worldwide. We'll talk about that in just a little bit with the Eliminate Project and IDD, but I believe that the majority of our members are drawn to this organization because of the service that we provide in the community. I remember trying to talk Taryn, my daughter who's online here, be a Kiwanian, like all the reasons that I gave her, nothing stuck with her until the day she dreamed up planting little libraries and putting one in her front yard. And that was the day she became a Kiwanian. So I love reading that and sharing that. We've raised a lot of money, and look at the number of hours that we've donated to service. I mean, serving the children of the world. You have any comment on that, Taryn? You're just going to let that slide?
Oh, I mean, mostly I didn't want to go because you guys met really early in the morning and the food wasn't really good when I went there in high school. And it wasn't just to get the little library in our front yard, because how many did we actually fund?
9.
Which was awesome. And I think, same as you, seeing projects go into fruition is very much like my age group of like, I want to see some immediate give back. And our club has been very, very action oriented. So I won't disagree with you. And I don't have to wake up early for our club meetings or eat the food that was there when I was in high school.
Because you're part of the E-Club, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would wake up early. I'm older now, and my child wakes up at 5:30. So I would now. Times have changed.
Anything to add, Bert?
No, I think Taryn hit it right on the head. I'm still trying to figure out why I get up so early every Wednesday morning. So.
Okay, next one. I think that this question is really important during these times. People of the younger generation, well, even our generation, are asking, I want to do service. I'm happy to do service. Why do I have to be a member? And I think it's something that we have to continue to think about and be able to verbalize. Because there's so many ways that people can spend, especially new people that are sort of checking us out. Like, why should I be a Kiwanian versus a Rotarian or a Lions? Anyway, what's in it for me? Changing children's lives. That's number one for me. And I forget it sometimes, but always bring my brain back to the Eliminate Project, where we really made an impact right now during our lifetime. We've made a huge impact. Improving the community in the world, building friendships, so many friendships. I mean, I know for everyone sitting here at this table, you are experiencing that as well. I have a fun story to tell you. I got stranded in Florida just a couple of months ago, or actually in January, because of a storm coming through on the seaboard. And I'm like, gosh, I think that I have a fellow Kiwanian named Carol who lives right here. And I called her up and she said, yeah, my place is empty. Just head right over there. And I did. My husband and I stayed there, and I was so grateful for that. I use that just as an example of where we meet people all over the country, enhancing our leadership skills and developing business contacts.
Didn't you meet a really good friend in England that years ago that you and Jim stayed at their house through Kiwanis?
Oh yeah, Tim and Jane.
Yeah.
And and relevant today is that I've been speaking with a woman in Kiev. She's in the Kiwanis Club of Kiev, and her name is Laura. And we've been talking almost daily. Unfortunately, today she did not respond, so I don't know what that means on what's going on there in Ukraine. But if she gets over in this country, she's staying in my house.
It says build friendships, and that's really what it, talks about it. But the social aspect of Kiwanis, I think people miss that about it. The business contacts, the business network. When I make presentations to business groups, that's the one thing I always talk about is the service aspect of Kiwanis has made me successful in business. It's not the other way around. I wasn't successful in business to become a Kiwanian. My Kiwanis connections made me successful in business, and the social aspect. I mean, we were joking when you first started on, and I saw Mike on the phone, and Mike and I have got some great memories together. And, when I think, I'm just kind of going through the screen. When I think of Carol down in Alamosa bidding on a wagon with, Jeannie Lucy riding around in a wagon full of wine. I mean, what better than that, And so the social aspect of Kiwanis, I think, is so valuable that we don't really talk about. But I think in a club and a district that's active, you learn a lot and you build those friendships that last forever, and memories. And I can go through that whole list of everybody on the screen and kind of come up with a memory really that they have done, or maybe they don't want to talk about. So yeah.
Here's your
Yes.
little friend.
There's my buddy Riley right there.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. All right, Don, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's perfect. Next, please. More perks, the Kiwanis magazine, club communications, and it's something that I really don't think about much, but that all of our projects are covered by insurance through KI. So I feel a little bit safer, and that, we could get in trouble on some of the things that we do, and maybe this helps us out and not getting in too much trouble. I'm not sure.
Our district is very fortunate that we have very few claims, but having that coverage allows us to have a Oktoberfest, or having that coverage allows us to have a breakfast with Santa, and things that we're allowed to do that, other organizations can't do. One of the biggest reason why schools love us to come in and have a key club or to have a builders club or a K-Kids is because we have this insurance coverage that protects the children and protects us and protects the school district. A local club that's just a group of very, well-minded citizens that want to work in the schools cannot go down to the schools and do a project because they don't have that insurance. So I think that's one of the things that a lot of Kiwanians don't realize, that why we need this umbrella organization is so we can do some of the service projects we want because of that insurance policy that we carry. How many read the online magazine? Did everybody like the online version? Did you guys read that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it better than the paper version. I guess if I want to think of environmentally, it's a good idea to have it digital. But sometimes I like just having it in my hand.
Yeah, I keep the paper versions on my desk at the office, and then I can read an article. I got Peter's picture, right there, framed right there, Peter. I don't know if you can see, but, I'm a little disappointed that the Rocky Mountain District did not pick Peter's picture on the magazine, to put on there. It would have scored more points, but the online version is just as good as a quality magazine. It's just a little different. We might all have to get used to. So
okay, next one.
Go ahead.
So more club benefits, giving you a sense of community service and accomplishment. I know in our community, a huge majority of our members are well known in the community. Because of Kiwanis, that we're pretty visible, And when you talk about Breakfast with Santa, most people know it's with Kiwanis. Also, peer recognition and camaraderie, and during friendships and fellowships, we talked a bit, and a network of business professionals. And then we get into actually going to the next level, which is at the division. And that was really my first opportunity to meet people outside of my park, my club in Woodland Park, and see that there was opportunity for developing leadership skills and continuing education seminars, and actually going the next step after being president of my club. A lot of new people don't know what the next steps are. And once you've figured out the division, then you go on to the district. And there you have the opportunity to attend conferences and conventions. A lot of folks that have joined us in the last year or two really don't know that because they've been virtual. And so it's a whole different ballgame when you get to be in person with your peers for a weekend. You walk away with many new friendships, lots of laughs. We used to have a district newsletter. We don't anymore. This year we have Governor Robin's videos, which are amazing. Love them so much. And they seem really relevant during this time period. Anything to add, Bert?
Well, I would just say that I think what Governor Robin is doing, and she's kind of cheating because she has that, publicity extraordinaire expert living in her house with her, but she's kind of cheating with that. But I love the videos. I love the videos when she does them with Tim, or when she does them with Bob, or with you. And like you say, they're very relevant. And I think that's the future. I think that that's where we're going to be moving forward, for cost, and also, just to be pertinent and be right then today. This is the news of today, not the news of 2 months ago, and here we're putting it in print. And so I'm very excited for that, and I really appreciate what she's doing with that, and I hope everybody else loves them as much as I do. And I haven't missed a one, Governor. I really have not. So yeah, I enjoy them. Even when you put my picture up in your little thing there, I enjoy that one too. So yeah.
I think we're going to have to add a line item for hair and makeup, though. All in favor,
Oh
say
my
hi.
gosh, I would love that. Thank you.
I'm gonna complain about that, Bert, because when I did the
Line
video,
item for hats. Everybody needs a hat. I think we need a hat. So, yeah. Okay.
Christy, what color are you doing your nails tonight?
Black.
Lincoln
I thought
Park
I was
After
being
Dark.
subtle with my little light.
Oh no, you're good. We were talking about hair and makeup. I forgot nails.
Nails are
All right,
important.
Joe, let's go on to the next one. So what do we need to do as new Kiwanians is get engaged with your club meetings. It's working within your club, finding out what needs to be done, not allowing just one person to carry the load. If we all share, beautiful things come out of it. We can't put on great bingo nights and great breakfast with Santa if we just have one person doing it. Dividing it makes it so much more fun, and you leave the event knowing that you were part of it. Take part in the club service and fundraising projects and talk about Kiwanis. I try to wear my Kiwanis clothes everywhere I go. And then people ask me, what is that? Generally, they say, my dad used to belong to Kiwanis. My grandpa used to. I'm like, that's okay. You can still be part of Kiwanis when you're younger. Anything to add, Bert?
No, I think, yes, I do. Actually, I think the UPass Club used to have a member named Don Blim, and he always said that Kiwanis in our club, and I think it goes well with all clubs, is a no guilt organization, that we want you to be a member and we want you to do whatever you can to help us further the objects of Kiwanis in our community. And if we're doing a project you can't be a part of, don't feel, but come and to the next one. And I thought that he was always very smart when he'd say that we're a no guilt club. We just want you to do what you can do and help us where you can. We'll all accept that and we'll all be good with that. And I think that that's, wise words that all new Kiwanians, don't don't feel like you have to be a part of every project, but be a part of every project you want to be a part of or you can be a part of. So.
Excellent points. Next slide, Joe.
So before
Chad,
Don
go
talks
ahead,
about
go ahead.
this, I will just tell you, Don was the Eliminate chairman for the Rocky Mountain District. And Bob Garrettson flat out lied to her and told her, I know Bob's on the call, he doesn't have his camera going. Bob Garrettson lied about what all she would get to do as the Eliminate chairman. I tried to tell her the truth, but she listened to Bob instead of me, so.
It's lucky it's
A little
not
background
Sunday,
on
Bert. It's
that.
lucky it's not Sunday.
The value of being Kiwanian. This is what your friends do for you. And I was a relatively seasoned Kiwanian and was asked to do this project. I thought, oh, this is going to be great because I can use my nursing skills and I can go there and give shots to the babies. Oh, this is going to be the best. Only when I got to Kiwanis International did I get the bad news. I don't know if it was Bob or if it was Bert who said, no, you're not doing that. Anyway.
You tried to entice me to join Kiwanis then with the same lie that we would go Africa together and inoculate babies as nurses.
It's all Bob.
So Bob's lie made it.
Okay.
No, but can I say, Don, that your passion about that, I became our club's coordinator because of your passion about that.
Oh, well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It was a great project. I think it's
Yes.
something we should all be proud of as Kiwanians, that we really made a difference in our life now. I mean, there's a lot of projects that go on for years and you can't really see it and feel it. And we have, as Kiwanians, stepped up to the plate and been part of making it better for kids, no doubt, with this project. Next slide, please. And we're in a fight, and I'll talk to you later that. So for our new folks, they generally don't know where information is coming from. So how do they know what's going on? Generally, club meetings are the best place. Our district emails are a great place to go look for information, like where are our clubs, who are our club presidents, where are our divisions, what district are we in, where are we have K-Kids and Key Clubbers. I think that's on our website. I guess I've got to double check that. The Kiwanis magazine and Facebook and Instagram. I think most of the clubs have a Facebook page. So ours does. So that's a great for our folks to see what's going on in case they missed a meeting.
Hey, Dawn.
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate that everyone should check their Facebook or their website or what, because I'm traveling and I'm trying to hit Kiwanis meetings as I'm traveling around from Florida to Tennessee to Illinois and into Missouri. And it is really hard. I end up having to go to Kiwanis1.org and searching the city, and then I got to search all that. It's like a dark, deep hole. Everyone could just make a note to just double check. If you put it on your Facebook page where you meet and when you meet and your contact, it's really helpful to get passersby.
A great point, Carol. I think that is one of the things that we all forget to do. I think when you in Woodland Park, even our sign says the wrong restaurant, since I got updated, since we changed locations. So very good point.
I hear a lot of challenges about that they don't, our clubs don't have a member who is savvy in social media. And so they may be able to put some information on one time, but nothing goes on there after that. Or maybe they'll have an event, but trying to follow it every week, that's a real challenge, but good points. I'm going to be traveling through Wyoming, and I have found the districts locations have been pretty good. I mean, there's some that haven't been updated, but for the most part, that's where I get the information on the day and time and the place that they meet. Next one, Joe. How to get involved, attend the meetings, participate in the service projects, which are the most fun. Participate in interclub meetings. Peter made mention of that, like what's an interclub meeting? Gonna let Bert explain that.
So interclub meeting is where the president of the Ute Pass Club goes to Colorado Springs and steals their bail. It used to be a big thing. So an interclub is actually when 4 members, or if you're a club less than 10, you can have 3. I think that's the rule. Or 3 or 4 members from your own club go to visit another club and attend their meeting, go to K-Kids or Builders Club or Key Club or Action Club or Circle. You go to one of their meetings. And that is considered an interclub. Back in the day, we would have an interclub contest. What club? But it was always kind of fun to be part of the interclub committee that would go visit all the different clubs. And I think for clubs that have other clubs around them, it would be really good to participate in.
Following up on this, serving on committees is critical so we can share the work, get new ideas, refresh on what we are doing to keep it current and lively, find some new humor because my jokes and Bert's jokes are, get pretty lame after a while. So we need some new ones, and finally run for office. That there's such a dire need for new presidents, treasury secretaries. Some of our clubs have people for many years, which we're grateful that they're fulfilling that role. But I think every club really wants to encourage their members to run for an office and participate at that level.
Very disappointed you don't think my jokes are funny.
Oh, I didn't say that. Terrence said that.
Okay.
Our voices sound the same, and so you were just
so young. She
about
just
that.
doesn't get good humor yet because she's not old enough to get it. So, okay. Next slide.
So I don't know if the information is the current as of this month, but I think I have 2 presidents here that could probably tell me how close we are.
You're very close. I think the membership number is very close, but there's actually 50 districts once you add all. So, and there's soon to be 51 districts. Maybe when we do the questions, we'll figure out if anybody can figure out what that district is. So, but the membership number is very close.
Anyone have any?
Am I right, Peter? If I'm not right, Peter, go ahead and just shake your head. Yes, Bert's right, because it is my home district. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to portray you in a less than favorable light. No, I think you're right. I think you're very close on the membership number. The number I've used with clubs, this could be correct. I've used the number 7,100. I tend to downplay it a little. I'm more conservative in the number that I give. But as the 176 is concerned, can I just while I'm on, can I tell us quickly?
Sure.
Okay. When I was relatively new to the organization, we had a final divisional meeting of the year for a lieutenant governor. September, his term was September. And we had it at a local catering house, and they brought down 5 banners from his club, including his lieutenant, and it was placed in one part of the room. As the meeting was breaking, the staff at the cater voice, I told them to take the banner, roll them up, and put them into the boxes that the club kept them with. I then ran out to my car and put them in the trunk of my car, and forced next week where we had the 5 banners on the wall of the place where we meet for them to pay their ransom by attending our meeting.
Nice.
old
Nice.
days, as the saying goes.
You-
Yeah.
Literally, you passed Woodland Park, the Colorado Springs Club bell, just a month and a half ago, and it was awesome. They had to come collect it.
We've had bells go on vacation where we start getting bells are stolen and we have them on a beach in Florida, you know.
Well, Don, you better take back over or you're going to lose control. So,
All right, next slide, please.
I think I know where the headquarters is. I learned today.
There's a lot of people that don't, especially when you're new. You don't even know there's something called Kiwanis or where headquarters would be. In my mind, I always had a vision that it was like that giant hotel in Indianapolis that's all glass. I'm like, oh yeah, that must be the Kiwanis International building. And then I finally got to see it this year when I went for governor-elect training. So I hope that eventually all year you might be able to, if you come to convention, you'll be able to Kiwanis building. Here are our district officers. We're served them right in our room. Thank you for coming. I appreciate that so much. Anything to add?
Peter's picture, Peter is sitting in front of the international office.
Big building.
Yeah. That's actually the building right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, give me a better look.
There you go.
Oh, thanks.
Peter.
Next slide.
You know, while she's moving that slide, I think it's interesting to see. And then when you see this international officers, I know Peter is as well as I am, but I'm so proud of it. And 106 or 107 years later, Katrina will only be the third woman to be president. And that needs to probably change. Well, I'm glad it didn't change the year I was running for office, but it's Katrina. And I think we have a lot of great women in our organization that would make a great president. And but it's really great to see her in that picture to make us all look better first and foremost. But the fact that she's going to bring a different perspective and a much higher energy level than the rest of us. So I'm very proud of Katrina, and I'm glad that she will be following myself.
I think she makes the other three of us in that,
And
that photo look
Yeah,
worse.
that's true. Definitely the road. Yeah,
She has
so
cuter outfits.
she
and
does.
color.
She does. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, next slide. How are we doing on time?
Well, Steve, I have to tell you, it just happens to be whatever mood I'm in. So Steve sent me a personal text and said, well, how do I choose which color hat to wear? And in that picture, I was wearing a white hat. And today I'm wearing a black hat. And I guess it really depends on what committee meeting I'm going to, too, is whether I'm going to wear a black hat or a white hat. You know?
So if it's a black hat, does that mean you're out for bear? And a white hat is like, well, everything's
I
good?
guess, but mostly it has to do with what suit I'm wearing.
Oh, okay. So this slide talks a little bit about our own district, the Rocky Mountain District. Kudos to Governor Robin and to immediate past governor, Bob O'Connor. Thanks so much for all that you did as well. Myself, Dawn Ignatius coming in, and Josephine is our executive director and secretary. And Clark, I don't see him on the call right now. And then we have lieutenant governors. They're not listed here, but we have 16. Is that correct, Governor Robin? Help me out there. And a number of members in the district in February are 2190. Comments, questions about that? If not, next slide, please. I just put this in as a example of, I know for many of our members, they just know their club. They don't know what division they're in, and they don't know what the other clubs are within their division. So for us in Division 4, here's our Lieutenant Governor Tom, and the 6 clubs that we have in our division. We have 18 divisions, except Division 17 does not have a lieutenant governor. Is it actually considered a division now? Help me out, someone? No. Anyway, sample of a division. Anything to add, Bert?
No, I think that this is great. I don't see Tom on the call, but I think that's the one thing that newer members and members in general forget, is that we actually are broken up into divisions, and we have a lieutenant governor. And I think the lieutenant governor job in Kiwanis is very important. Tom has a very important job. Next year, it'll be Jason Roshak in our division. And the communication piece that comes from Kiwanis International and from the district funnels all through the lieutenant governor. I would think that one of the most enjoyable jobs I ever had as a Kiwanian was as lieutenant governor. And so those of you that have not been lieutenant governor, I think you should consider it, because you will really enjoy being lieutenant governor.
Absolutely agree. It was my favorite job so far.
I always tell everybody, the higher you go in Kiwanis, the more insignificant you become. So you want to go to be lieutenant governor. So, yeah.
Stop there. Next, please. The foundation, I'm going to let you talk about that, Bert.
Well, actually, Peter would be much better, because Peter is one of the few people in our whole organization that has also been the president of the foundation and the president of Kiwanis International. I think there's only been 2 of you, Peter, or 3?
I'm aware of 2, just Jane and myself, as far as I know.
Yeah.
There may have been early on, it may have gone the other way around, where somebody was president and then they become of the foundation. But the 2 I know of are Jane and myself. Yeah, I mean, I can just talk about it for a minute. It's actually the legal name is still the foundation, but it does business as the Kiwanis Children's Fund. That's a more representative name for what it does, and it's a name that makes it more appealing in terms of fundraising. It exists to raise funds to support the charitable purpose, support the service purposes of Kiwanis International. Funds are raised from all Kiwanians and from outside sources to support to pay for grants which are obtained upon applications from clubs and districts. The Children's Fund has functioned in the past also as the operating body to carry out our worldwide service projects, whether it was, I don't know if that's going to come up on subsequent slides, but we've had 2 worldwide service projects, and the Kiwanis Children's Fund has been charged with raising money for those purposes in order to effectuate the aims for the program. The district is touched by the fact that, as the slide indicates, there's an annual club gift campaign, and a certain percentage of the monies that are raised within each district go back and can be used in each district for their purposes. The fund has identified certain causes now that it's going to be associated with going forward. And I don't know whether we're going to see that on a subsequent slide, so I'm not going to, I won't get into that at this point.
Also, Don.
Oh, you've got,
the Rocky.
Yeah, you've got
the Rocky Mountain District
here.
Is very, very fortunate, because somewhere on this call, I don't see him on there, but when he starts talking, we'll all see him. Maybe Joe had a great picture she can put up. It's a really big honor that the president, the actual president of the Kiwanis Children's Fund, is on this call. It's Mr. Bob Garrison from Fort Collins. So it's a kudos to the Rocky Mountain District that we have the president-elect and the president of the Rocky Mountain or the Children's Fund. So Bob, if you start talking, everybody will see you. And what would you like to say about the Children's Foundation?
Josephine has a much better picture of me because it's a really low bar. But yeah, we're really proud of what we're doing. Just to give you a sense of the scale of what the Children's Fund has done, and the Kiwanis International Foundation has done. Those of you remember the IDD project, we originally started at 75, trying to raise 75 million, and to date, we've raised or levered over $100 million for the IDD program. It's still going on. We're still issuing grants. On the MNT side, we were going to raise 110 million. We're right at about 120 million right now, raised or levered. And so between the two programs, Kiwanis has raised over $250 million to affect lives around the world, saving lives, helping them become healthy, helping them become good, hopefully good future members, especially in some of the areas we're at with Africa and the like too. So yeah, as Peter said, we're moving into a different form of a campaign. We're trying to, we've got a case for support, and we've got 3 causes, health and nutrition, education, and leadership programs. And what that does is that's a continuum of impact that goes from age 0 up through young adulthood. So this is what Kiwanis is doing, and that's what the Children's Fund is involved in raising money for clubs, as well as for other projects that will be run around the world.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up that, the president is from the Rocky Mountain District. The president is right there in Fort Collins, and so it's an honor to have him in our district, and he's done a great job, and I'm really proud that I can tell everybody that Bob is my friend. So,
It's like we practiced.
More importantly, that Bob considers me his friend.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Bob,
Bob.
for that input. We'll have the next slide, Joe.
But I'm sure Joe could have found a better picture than you, but
Once again, a low.
I have a really good picture. I just am afraid to lose the screen
You're
of the
good.
PowerPoint. But
you're good.
So we have several service leadership programs that we are involved in. Terrific Kids, K-Kids. It's interesting because they call them service leadership programs here. I'm only used to hearing them in a bigger picture, like Circle K at college level, Action Club for disabled individuals, Key Clubbers at high school, Builders Club at middle school, and K-Kids at elementary, and then our educational leadership program of Key Leader. But within those, each one of those areas, there are smaller programs like Break Grades, the Bugs program, and Terrific Kids. So lots of activity. Anything to add to Bert?
No, I think you covered it. Kids are what we're all about.
Go ahead, Joe. Here are the people that we have partnered with, the ones that I'm aware of. We've got a lot of smarts on this phone call that might be able to tell me if I've missed anyone. For me, it was more about talking about the fact that we do partner with other organizations to achieve our goals.
I think you hit the high points there. The districts that do other things, but overall, this is a really good slide. Thank you.
Next, please.
Ron, just going back to your previous slide, you had a question in the chat from Margie, and she hadn't heard of Terrific Kids.
The Terrific Kids is a program that recognize kids at the elementary level through a club that had great social skills or did something to improve their class or improve their school. It wasn't so much about their grades, but it was just more about their attitude and how they do that. And we don't see that too much anymore. I think there's a couple clubs that still do that. Bringing up grades is still, the Bug program is really taken over from Terrific Kids, but Terrific Kids is still out there in parts of the country.
Next, please. I wanted folks to be aware that through the district or even international, we have already created documents such as club bylaws, where we just have to make them a little more individualized to your own club, but the formatting is already there, so you don't have to recreate it. It gives guidelines and requirements and in regards to our board members, our meetings. So if you're ever looking for any of that at the district level, please contact Josephine, I'm sure she'll be, excuse me while I answer this, not answer this phone. She'll be happy to guide you.
I have nothing on that. I mean, that's legalese. That's Peter's rule. Now move on.
It's kind of true, but I actually had someone say, well, do we have bylaws? I'm like, well, we sure do. Go ahead, Joe.
There's that elusive bell that everybody's been trying to steal.
Exactly. This is just a formatting slide for you to know for our newer members that we do our elections every year for president, treasurer, secretary, and members of the board. And the board members help to determine policy, what projects are budgeting, and overall management of the club. Next, please.
Jim made you put this in, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't, you talk about this one, Bert.
So Don and I, we really don't care that there's a budget. We just want to go out and have fun, and we
That's
want to have projects. We want to do everything. But Jim, who's sitting off to the side next to Don, he wants a budget. Bob Garrettson, who's up there, he wants a budget. The accountants, they want a budget. And so the finance and the budget of Kiwanis clubs are very important. So you know, we have two different, usually each club has two different accounts. One is an administrative account, which is simply put, is money that comes in from members, can be spent on members. The service account is money that comes from outside of Kiwanis, needs to be spent outside of Kiwanis. And that's the easiest way to think about it.
Awesome. Next. We'll put that in there just because I wanted to mention that every club is different in how they structure their dues, but there is some common elements, and that is whether or not your club has separate monies in dues for like meals, but we pay the same district dues. Every member pays the same district dues, and we all pay the same international dues. And then based on what your club is charging, for example, our satellite club does not charge anything for food. We go to rotating places. If people want to eat something, they do. So their basic dues are district and then the Kiwanis International dues. Next one, sorry. I was reading Robin's comment in the, oh, this is the best part of Kiwanis too, is the conventions, which are very fun, very educational, get to see beautiful places. I'm disappointed we're not going to the Philippines this year because I was really hoping that that's where we're going, but okay, we're going to go to Indianapolis. For our district and most, we try to have a mid-year conference. This year, here we are, virtual, and this is the first program of the whole lineup. And then we have a district convention in August. Going to be a lot of fun in Broomfield. International is in June, right? June 8. I just don't have 8 through what? 13?
11, depending on, you know. So.
Indianapolis, there's lots of fun things planned. If you can get there, please do. It will change your vision, your knowledge about Kiwanis. Get there if you can. Key Club also has a district convention and international, Circle K. I think James is on the line, and maybe you could tell me if you have a district convention and an international. I wasn't really fully
We
aware.
have both a district convention and an international. Our international will be in July in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas?
Yeah.
I will see you there, James.
Good.
It's going to be hot down there.
Yeah. I have to wear the white hat down there.
Next one, Joe.
Ooh, now it comes to the questions.
Yes. So remember, if you stump us, and Peter, you might have to help us here. and Bob Garrison too. He might know some of the
It's going to
questions.
help me.
So, so go ahead to the next slide. If you would, Joe, please. Well, so I had reached out and asked people that I knew were part of a club for 3 years or less to send me something that was a burning question for them. So let's see how many we covered in this program and if there's any we still need to try to make money for the foundation on. So who are the officers in the club? Anybody want to answer? Do I have to answer? Okay, I'll answer. But wait, if none of you answer, I think that means you have to give me $10 for the foundation. Individually. So we could make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Our club officers are the president, the president-elect, the treasurer, the secretary, and the members of the board.
Yeah.
Chris Crudo is asking me in the chat room, who was the first woman Kiwanians? Like the first woman ever, the individual?
I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to that. I know when it happened, but I can tell you who one of the very first women in Rocky Mountain District.
And Dawn.
One of the very first women in Rocky Mountain District was Jan Brown Reed. And I'm sure she wasn't the first one in the Rocky Mountain District, but she was real close to one of the first ones.
I can tell you the first woman member in California is Judy. I did an interview with her on my podcast about it, and it's actually called All Because They Join. She was the first woman in her club in California, and she is now a member of our club because she retired to Pueblo.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I think that's
I think
another
we.
$10.
I was going to say, I think we might have to pay up on that, Bert, because we didn't know.
And Carol kind of blew us out of the water.
What
Pat Rust
countries
was the first
are?
one. Pat Rust.
Pat Rust. Okay, thanks, Jack. I guess that's well, I didn't say that was a correct answer. I just said it was a close answer. So I get $10 out of me on that one, Jack.
What countries are Kiwanis in?
Well, that's going to be really tough because there's 86 of them. So I answer that, but I can throw this back at them, Don, and go, what country will be the next district that represents Kiwanis?
I think that's fair. I mean, I don't think either of us, I don't think anyone on the call could answer all 86 countries.
You have to have 1,000 members to be considered a district in Kiwanis, and there's a country that in the next 2 years, I think will become a district. And I'd be interested if anybody could guess that other than Peter.
Didn't Peter say Uganda in the beginning?
We think Africa will be a district specific country, which you're very.
Not just one country.
Nepal a district yet, Bert?
It is. It actually, Peter and I were fortunate to be there 2 years ago when they became official district.
And we just got out of town before COVID swept through.
Yeah, we left town and left Asia just as COVID shut down the world. So actually, I believe it will be India. India will probably be the next district of Kiwanis.
It probably will be India, and Africa probably will end up as 2 districts because there's a French-speaking and an English-speaking part of Africa.
Yeah.
Mm.
So everybody on the call owes the foundation $10. $20 because there was almost 2 answers there.
Leslie has a call for us. Why did one slide say 550,000 members and another one said 176,000 members?
Well, that was simply because whenever they ask how many people are a part of Kiwanis, they always include the Key Club, K Kids, Builders Club, CKI, and Action Club. And when you add them all together, you get that 550. But when it's actual adult members in Kiwanis, then it's 176.
Which basically tells you that there are twice as many of our service leadership program members as there are Kiwanians in the K family.
Let's see. How many members are in the world?
I think we covered that.
Oh, did we? I thought we did clubs and then members. All right, decon mid-year. What do we do there? I think we covered that.
I think if the rest of the boys from Fort Collins were on here, they would say that we all go to room 401. Is that correct, Bob? Room 401 used to be
Room 4400, but we digress.
yeah, 4400 used to be the hospitality suite in Broomfield. That every year when we went to that convention, room 4400 was the hospitality suite. Most of them would say that's why we were there. That is not why we were there. We were there for education and also fellowship and celebration.
Cash bar.
And we
Cash.
and of late we've been trying to throw in service projects too, little service projects. So that's been fun. What states make up the Rocky Mountain District?
Do we have to answer that or are they answering?
Well, I think that the question is, did we answer it in our program? And I don't think we did.
No.
Colorado, Wyoming, the Panhandle of Nebraska, and two clubs. Might only be one now. Josephine would have to answer that. I think one of them went back. One club in New Mexico.
One.
That's
Good
correct.
answer.
That's correct.
What does the foundation do?
Okay. I don't know or who that was, but that was funny right there.
That would be King Charles.
So I think if we didn't answer that, I think the Rocky Mountain District Foundation works a lot with the Ronald McDonald House, the Children's Hospital, and also the Rose Hill. Am I saying that correctly? The Rose Hill House in Grand Junction that all help people stay in a house whenever their child is at the Children's Hospital. That's what the Rocky Mountain District Foundation is really known for.
And we give grants to clubs. So if any of our clubs are endeavoring on a service project and they need some assistance, they can apply. I think it's quarterly to get some monies from the foundation to help them achieve that project goal. I think we missed one. What is the RMD, RMDF, SLP, CKI Action Club?
Well, RMD would be Rocky Mountain District. RMDF would be the Rocky Mountain District Foundation that I just spoke about. SLP stands for Service Leadership Programs, which is the clubs that you just talked about. CKI is a Circle K, a gas station on every corner. And Action Club. Action Club is something we haven't talked about tonight, but Action Club is one of the things I love the best. And I used to love when they would come to our convention. Action Club is adults with disabilities. And they have their own club, they have their own board, they have their own board of directors or president, and they do service projects. And whenever you get to see some adults with disabilities perform service projects for other adults, it just really cheers you up and realizes that everyone in the community has something that they can give back. So.
Nice. Next one. What's the difference between key leader and key club?
That's all.
So I know Chris.
That is all you.
Well, I'm going to let Chris Scruto talk about key leader.
Oh, that's not fair.
I think so.
Do I get the $10 then?
I will make a donation in your name
All right,
$10,
I'll take that.
and then I'll send a Venmo request to you.
Okay. So Key Leader is a wonderful leadership program for high school kids that all Kiwanis clubs in the district contribute to. And we run it a little bit differently than other districts. Our students are nearly 100% scholarships. So it doesn't matter what your means are. if you're a high school kid, you can attend Key Leader. It's a weekend program, starts late Friday afternoon and goes to Sunday morning. It's professionally facilitated, and it is a professionally developed leadership program where they gain skills on what kind of leadership style fits them. And we talk about a lot of the same things we talk about in Kiwanis, being an ethical leader, taking care of yourself, working on projects in search of being a good, leader in that regard. They're the kids that 60 kids every year. We tried to do 2 programs last year, but COVID kind of shot us down. We're going to do 2 programs hopefully this year. And one of the things we've done is our district, and Jack, who's on the call, I think he's still on the call, was instrumental along with the committee, is we a foundation Kiwanis oriented. They're not a Kiwanis foundation. And they match dollar for dollar everything we raise to the tune of $150,000 over the next 5 years so that we can offer scholarships to every single kid who attends. It's a great program. The kids that go get a lot out of it. They come back as leaders the following year and they lead little neighborhood groups. So it's a wonder. And if you want more information, you can go t-leader.org, or you can get in touch with me. And I'm really hard to find. My email is Chris at my last name, well, Robin's last name, curto.org. So reach out if you want more information than that.
Awesome.
You got to really plug it. I'm going to ask Josephine to turn off the shared screen right now, and we're running a little short on time. So I want to offer one more person to ask a question in the chat or just raise your hand. One last chance to stump us, and then and say goodnight.
Okay, I go.
All right, Carol.
Bring it.
I already know the answer, but and you will too probably, but this came to me today actually from someone. Is if the Kiwanis Club is having a pancake breakfast, let's say, and it costs $5 for the breakfast, and someone wants to donate an extra $100 as they pass through the line, can they get a tax deduction for that if they're giving it for a club fundraiser?
Ooh, so that's an interesting question, Carol, because it's a trick question, but I got the trick answer. If they're donating it to the club, the actual Pueblo Kiwanis Club, then no, they cannot get a tax donation because they're a 501c4 organization. But if they are donating it to the Pueblo Kiwanis Club Foundation, then they do get a tax deduction because then it's a 501c3. But if a club does not have a personal foundation, or they're not donating to the district foundation or international foundation, no, they cannot get a tax credit, but strictly to the club. So trick question, but now you owe $10 and not us.
All right, send me that Venmo.
Well, thank you. We didn't make much money. I think that's good, Bert. I mean, I wanted to raise money, but I'm glad that we had answers for you and the right answers. I want to say thank you for joining us tonight from Mumbo Jumbo, and thank you, Bert, for being part of it, and Peter as well, and everyone here. Contact me if you have any questions. I'm happy to follow up afterwards. I'm going to put my email address in the box there. And
while Dawn's doing that, because, typing and talking at the same time sometimes is a little difficult, I would like to put a plug in for the next in our lineup, which will be Saturday the 19th. We will be having a membership and growth panel led by our membership chair and past distinguished governor, Tim Shepard. And we'll be joined by Anna Wu, who is the membership coordinator of CalNEVA. And let me just say that they are on fire with growth, and she has got some amazing ideas not only for club opening, but for strengthening existing clubs. And she will also be joined on the panel by Todd Smith, who is a past governor of the Florida district. So we're bringing in some big guns. So I hope that we can see you there. And if for some reason you registered and you didn't put Saturday the 19th in your basket, if you email Josephine at kiwanisrmd@gmail.com, she can add that to the basket for you. So I hope that we see you on Saturday the 19th. It'll be at 9 a.m. in the morning. We want to get it out of the way so that we can all go ahead and enjoy the day. And again, I just want to thank Kiwanis International President Peter Mancuso. It's probably past your bedtime there on the East Coast. We're grateful that you came to join us. And Dawn and Bert, thank you for leading this first session and being the first in our lineup for the year. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Good night, everyone. Fun. Safe travel tomorrow, Bert.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Night.
Good night.